It's time for another chat with me video. Am I ready to get put in the hot seat again by you all? I don't know, but let's do it. Because I said that I would do a part 2 to my get to know me better video, and well, we're doing it today. So let me go outside like I do for these videos, get my little setup going in nature, because y'all know that I like to be out here relaxed, comfortable while telling my life story. So let's go outside, let me get my setup going, and I will start. Like I was telling you all in part 1, when I jumped on YouTube, I never really did a get to know me video or who am I video. I just kind of popped up on YouTube, sharing videos, mostly hauls, unboxing videos, and vlogs. In vlogs, I didn't even talk about myself that much. In vlogs, it was just more about the travel location or about the restaurant, about wherever we were going. So this type of video, this style of video is a little bit more intimate, but like I said, I've never done one of these. A lot of people did that have YouTube channels. Some people didn't, they just popped up, but I never really talked about myself. It was more about the products or where I was. There's Chip. He always wants to know where I am. I was wondering when he was gonna come out. He's probably gonna tan in a second. Yeah, I never did one of these videos, so I figure after a few years it's time. And just kind of catching you up on who I am. First of all, you guys, I love documentaries. It's one of my favorite things to watch. I love hearing people's stories. Everybody has a story. Whether you never left your small town, or you know, you were more adventurous and you flew all over the world. Everyone just has a unique story, and I love that. So stuff like this, you know, I like to watch and listen to. And I just want to say one thing. I want to say thank you to you all also, because I got a lot of good feedback from my last 2 videos. The first one that I did, it was more like an updated like chat with me video, but like now, which I want to get to later. I want to start doing these more often, but like more days in the life, like now, not my whole history. But I need to catch y'all up first. So I just wanted to say thank you all, because y'all encouraged me to do these, because I'm like, oh, I love hearing from you all in the comments, but I got a lot of good feedback. And you would think that I've been doing this for a while, that I'm completely comfortable with everything, but these style videos are very different. These style videos are more my past, my upbringing, my life, you know, a little bit more personal. So in the first video, I got y'all caught up to where I'm originally from, my ethnicity, just some of the questions I've gotten along the years with doing social media. I have Instagram also. I thought of those questions, and then I kind of put those in the first video, which went all the way back. You know, I talked about my brothers and sisters. I talked about why I joined the Marines, what brought me to California. So now we're gonna start from there. So y'all know why I joined the Marines. Now I'm gonna get to a little bit of the military, and then we're gonna talk about Hollywood, which might excite some people. We're gonna get to Hollywood. I do live in Los Angeles, California. Like I said in my first video, I'm originally from Houston, Texas. Man, this feels like an interrogation. It really does. I don't do a lot of podcasts. I've actually been asked recently to do a few podcasts. And you know, I don't do a lot of podcasts, I don't do a lot of interviews, but I've been asked. Just because, like I said, I feel like I'm a private person, but I have a YouTube channel. I'm more of a controlled person. I like to have control in what gets put out there, and I think it's something that isn't always a good thing when it comes to entertainment people, because half these people don't care. They just put anything and everything out there. And for me, I like it more controlled. I like parts of my life more private, even though, you know, I know people want to know everything sometimes, and it works for a lot of people. They get out there like that. But for me, I've always been a little bit more, I like it more controlled. Recently, I've been asked to do a few podcasts, and I might just do them. We'll see. You know, well, we'll get to Hollywood, so that's more about that. So, okay, I ramble. Sometimes I ramble. I like talking to y'all. When I first joined the Marines, I went to training at Parris Island. I also did some more training in North Carolina and South Carolina. So I was there for boot camp, and then I was there for some more training. And then you got to pick where you wanted to be stationed. You got 3 choices. I think I said this in my first video. So you got 3 choices. My first choice was Hawaii. I absolutely love Hawaii. I didn't end up going there. They actually sent me to my second choice, which was California. Somebody help me out there, because I was able to move to California, which is absolutely beautiful. I was stationed at, in my opinion, one of the best places to be stationed at, near San Diego, Oceanside. And I spent 4 years there. A lot of people have a lot of questions about the military, especially if you have no idea. I was around it a lot because my sister was in the military. She was in the Air Force. In the first video, I talked about that, but a lot of people have no idea how it works. TJ actually had a lot of questions, so he's heard all of my stories, but he's like, you know, I never thought about the military just having a job. Like, he imagined boot camp was my whole time in the Marine Corps for 4 years. I think a lot of people have that impression, especially from what they see in the movies, but it's not always like that, depending on what your job is. But you get a job, You work like a 9 to 5. I was lucky enough to either have morning shift or night shift. Don't get me wrong, there is a lot of physical fitness also when it comes to being in the military. A lot of times they work out Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Again, depends on where you work specifically. Of course, you're expected to maintain yourself and keep in great shape because you do have tests and you do have lots of training. So yes, it was very physical as well, but you also have like a normal 9 to 5, so you do get your time off on the weekends, which on the weekends where I was stationed at was our party time, man. For an 18-19-year-old to be, you know, in San Diego, which on the weekends we come up to Los Angeles, or I could literally drive 45 minutes to Mexico and drink at 18. Y'all know what I was doing. I was going buck wild, like I'm not gonna lie. It was some of the funnest times in my life for sure was in the military, because you wait for the weekends and you're just so excited to drink, you know, like to go out and have fun with your friends. So I made some great friends in the Marines. I'm still friends with them now. I actually just got off a voice message with one of my best friends in the Marines. We're still friends, Holly. We actually just started chatting more lately. For some reason, by the way, in my first video, I showed some pictures of me in the military and YouTube didn't like it. Maybe because I was talking about, I can't even say it on here probably, but I was talking about certain things that I did in the military going overseas. And for some reason, they banned that in some countries. So I'll be very delicate with what I say as far as that goes, but you know, we'll continue. So I did 4 years in the Marine Corps. I did go overseas at the end of my term. I spoke a little bit about it on the first video, but I didn't get into too much detail, like I said, because it seems to be a sensitive topic for YouTube. And then when I came back, I was kind of working on transitioning into LA life. Like, what was I gonna do? Was I gonna stay in the Marines or was I gonna get out? And for me, you guys, I thought I was gonna retire in the Marines. I thought that I was gonna be a lifer, do 20-25 years. That was gonna be the rest of my life. I love the Marines when I joined it, and I still do, but I thought that I was gonna retire from the Marine Corps. I was pretty hardcore. I had a lot of fun in the Marines, like I said, but I thought that that was just my life until I started coming up to Los Angeles. And then Hollywood became my life. So I'll get into that, but let's just finish up with the Marines. I was offered before I got out a position to become a drill instructor. I think I would have been a great drill instructor, but I did not want that lifestyle. In boot camp, our drill instructors were the most respected, the most hardcore, some of the best Marines I've ever seen. They trained Marines. You have a big responsibility. I really respected and admired them, but I didn't want to be a drill instructor. I didn't want my lifestyle to turn into so strict and so conservative. I just didn't want to have those restraints anymore, especially when I started seeing life off of base. Oh, that's another thing. When you're in the military, you live on base. Or if you get married, you can live off base, but most of us, we live on base. So it was very structured, you guys, except for the weekends. We went buck wild, I told y'all. But most of the time it was structured. Started seeing life outside of the Marines when I was coming up to LA and exploring California. And I decided that I wanted to take that route instead of staying in the military and taking that route, I guess. So after 4 years, I just decided to get out of the military and pursue a career in Hollywood. A lot of people, a lot of times are like, okay, that's a drastic change, but I'm gonna tell you why, okay? So I guess it wasn't that drastic for me because when I was back in Texas, when I was in high school, I had dabbled a little bit into modeling. So I was, you know, doing little things around town. What can you do in a small town in Texas? But I won a contest for the mall when I was a teenager, probably like 15, and I got to walk the runway. That's when I think I started really getting interested in it. And then I had done some stuff for a school too, just like the little prom, showing prom dresses, you know, walk the runway for that. So I started getting a little bit interested in it, but I left it all behind when I joined the Marines. I just didn't even think about modeling. I just didn't, it was just like out of my head. It was just something that was like, oh, that was cool. Then I get moved to California. Los Angeles is a 2-hour drive, and I start seeing, hey, maybe this could become a reality. I think when you're a young, attractive person living in Los Angeles, a lot of times, depending on if you're out and about a lot, you're gonna get offers to do certain things. You know, wear my t-shirt, I'll pay you $100. Hold my flyers, I'll pay you $200. You know, can you come to this party and be atmosphere model? We'll give you $200, $300, you know? So to me, I'm like, you know, I'm making military money, and then I'm thinking, wait, like this on top of military money? Okay, like I'm liking this, you know? So I started to kind of get they call it the acting bug out here, but I'm gonna call it the modeling bug, I guess. I don't know. I just started seeing that there was life outside of the military, and the money was fun. I don't want to say easy, I don't want to say good. The money was fun, okay? Because I was not only getting paid from being in the military, but then I was coming up here and then I was getting little jobs and getting work too. So I was just like, okay, I kind of like this. Could I do this full time for a living? And then I started doing extra work also. I was doing extra work the same time that I was in the Marines. Extra work is basically, it's so silly now that I think about it, but extra work, Leonardo DiCaprio started off as an extra, which is funny because everyone always talks about him. That's like the big story as far as being an extra. An extra is basically when you get like a daily pay rate. You're on set for like 8 hours and you walk behind the main actors. So you get paid your day rate, but all you do is walk you guys or open a door. They see you in the background. It's extra work. I was in the Marines at the time and then I was doing extra work. So I was getting my little gigs coming out on the weekend. I actually almost got in trouble for that because one day I got an extra job. And to me, I was thinking, even though anybody can be an extra, but I was thinking, oh, I got booked as an extra. I got booked on set, which to me, it was really cool to be on set. So not only am I in the Marines, but I'm also on set. So I'm going to set, like I'm actually like around real actors. I'm starting to see like real working people, out here in Hollywood. I'm still in the Marines. So to me, it was cool because I'm going to the Warner Brothers studio. I'm seeing real working actors, It was little gigs. To me, it was cool because I was still in the Marines. So I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, this is Hollywood, To me and to a lot of you that are watching that live all over the world, something like that is cool. It was cool to me. Like I didn't know, now that I've been out here for so long, now I know that there are levels. But at the time I was just like, oh man, this is cool. I like this. I'm gonna have to cut this, like I said, in parts. I'll just add to it, and then y'all can just follow along by watching the videos. But I'm not gonna keep this too long for you because it'll go too long. I could talk forever. Like I said, I want to cut it up. I don't want to be too boring for you all. So this is kind of like a documentary style, I guess. That's how I started transitioning from the Marines to Hollywood. I always liked to work too. I was never a lazy person. I always liked, I guess, who doesn't, but I always liked money and I always saw other opportunities. So when I was in the Marines, I actually had 3 jobs at one point. After the Marines, I would go and work at Subway, which Subway I could literally walk to from where I lived. So I'm like, ooh, if I have time, I'm gonna make this money, because there was nothing else to do except go back to the barracks. You saved your time for the weekend, but then I would have more money for the weekend, more money to go travel, more money to stay in LA, more money to, just explore the world on the weekends. So I worked at Subway and then I was doing extra work and I was doing little gigs up in LA, but LA is pretty far with traffic. I think it was starting to say that I got in trouble once because I just didn't go to work one time in the Marines, and that's crazy, you guys. They call it going AWOL, which is basically you don't show up. Well, I did that one time, but my Master Sergeant Gonzalez was amazing. He was awesome. He let me get away with it, and you don't get away with that. Like, you get in trouble. Well, I didn't show up for work because I had a gig in LA. I'd gotten booked for, an extra role. And I was just like, well, I can't miss that because that's my future, And I could have literally been kicked out of the Marine Corps for that. That is not okay. But I came back and I got sent to the office, and Master Sergeant Gonzalez was like, well, where were you? And so I told him. I was honest. I told him, and he was so cool with me though. He was just like, don't ever do it again, but I'll let you slide this time. And things happen full circle because TJ actually has a friend whose mom was friends with Master Sergeant Gonzalez too. Like, she knew him, and I was like, oh my gosh, he was awesome. Yeah, he really let me get away with something that I shouldn't and that you should never do in the Marines, but I did. So thank you, Master Sergeant Gonzalez, for letting me get away with that because it really helped pave my way into Hollywood. I should probably stop talking before I get too sweaty here. Oh, the wind is picking up though. I actually did put my mic on this time, you guys, because last time it felt muffled a little bit. Maybe I need a better mic. I don't know, but I think the mic from my phone is just great. I'm still testing stuff out here, you guys. This is only my 3rd video outside, even though you can hear a little bit of the wind in nature. I like hearing that. When I have my mic on, I feel like it's muffled and it takes out the sounds of the outside of nature. I'm gonna cut this short, you guys, because like I said, I don't want to talk for too long. I'm gonna make this in parts, so please just follow along. Again, thank you for your comments. Thank you for letting me know that you're watching this. And next, we're gonna get into Hollywood. So I got through the military part, and then I told you how I got into Hollywood. Like I did with the first video, I kind of transitioned you over to the military. So that's what brought me out to Hollywood. Basically, I was just getting little gigs, and then after that, I kind of packed my bags after 4 years, and I was like, okay, I've saved up some money from going overseas. I've saved up a little bit of money during my time in the military, and my story will continue from there. Let me stop now. Let me edit this, get this up for you all. And I just want to say thank you all for listening to my life story. Let me know in the comments, what do y'all think? This is something new for me, opening up to you all, but I do want to let y'all know a little bit of my backstory so that you know the person behind, you know, the unboxing videos, the hauls and vlogs, so you know a little bit more about me. And in the future, if anybody asks questions, I'll refer them right back to my other videos. That's who I am. That's where I came from. This is fun. I love chatting with you all. I could talk forever, but once I catch you up, then I'll be able to just talk more, you know, on the weekly, monthly, daily, like stuff like that, like just of stuff that's going on more current, like I did in my very first video, which is when I got into a car accident and the fires and stuff. So after that response, then I was like, oh, I need to tell my whole story, and then I'll start doing stuff like that, because you know, stuff happens all the time, and I'd like to chat with y'all, keep y'all updated, and I love hearing from you all in the comments. Like I said, I read all of them, I do get back to you, but the ones that are really encouraging really stand out to me, because I'm like, man, that's cool. You know, I'm not used to doing this. I've had social media for a while, but this is so different to me. But it's fine, I like it. Getting used to it. So thank you. Ooh, it's starting to get windy too. Which I love because it feels so good, but it might be loud in y'all's ear. I don't know how the wind's gonna come off on this video. Thank you all for watching. I post weekly. Usually it's hauls, vlogs, and unboxing videos. And now chat with me's. I'll be getting back to the vlogs soon too, but lately I've just been here at the house, you know, catching up on my unboxing videos and my hauls, which y'all know that I love to do. So I'll have one of those coming soon. I'll try to do one of these videos a little bit more often, but time flies, you guys. You know, I get caught up with other videos that I have to edit and that I have to do and produce and stuff. Once a month is cool. What do y'all think? For now, like I said, I'll try to do it sooner, but yeah, I will catch up with y'all. Don't worry. And thank you for following along, and I will see y'all next week. Bye.